hate the dress though.
Oh, the dress, this is miserable. Like, this thing is the worst dress ever. And I didn't try it on, before, like, it came in the bag and I just brought it. This thing is a huge hole. So I, like, tied it up. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's so nice.
No, it's the middle
Look at that things. They're black. I wanted to make sure that you could just walk in and be at ease. Oops, and not stress. Oops. Join Hundine. What camera? Oh. Yes, you are.
There you are. You
Never
just refuse to.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't like.
Oh no! How was your back porch? Oh, Lex, I love Lex. She was wonderful. I saw she. I think she was in New York and did some sort of color war.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was mine, and I needed to ask him this morning if he was able to get it washed off. He did a color war last night. He comes in. I'm like, what? How do we get, like, I should have done that. It's like all black. I'm like, how are we gonna get this out of your hair? It's on his cheek. Everybody's got to do one color war.
I like the green.
Like the green. Well, it's interesting.
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Oh, good. I can hear people.
Sure.
Go ahead,
1,
John.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. Thank you.
I can hear people.
Hello, hello.
I'm good. As long as you guys are happy, I'm happy, guys. Seriously, that's.
Good morning. I can hear you. Awesome. Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The AirPods. Oh boy. Sure.
Hang on, we are live, I think. Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. Check, check, check. First of all, don't be so excited. It's only me. Take it easy. Relax. You're a young man. Take it easy. Take it easy. Thank you. I'm standing by. How's everything look? Sound good? Good. That's easy for you to say. Drinking already, are we? That's the guy's it's engineer. Well, you should be drinking. See, nobody will think you. Nobody will think you're drinking. By the way, if it's like really early in the morning, people would say, "Are you drinking?" It's like it's 9 o'clock. Okay.
No bones. Orthopedics are bones. Anything like a sprained ankle. Oh, my finger. Like, yeah. But you know he's got to be absolutely not a nice guy. I can hear. Hello, Victor. How are you? I'm happy to see you. Yes, that's how I feel. I'm ready. Whenever you're ready to go, I'm ready. If everybody's ready. I am allowed to speak. Which camera would you like me on? Whatever's easiest for you. Well, I'll just move up. No, stay there. Don't move. I'll just stay right here. I'll just come over here. Oh, then you move. See. Hello. That's kind of how my world looks too. All different heights. Here, I'll get in the middle. How about that? We'll kind of even it out. Just kidding. Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. Lots to talk about. Great discussion. Thank you for joining. Feel free to interject, say your opinions. You know how I like theirs. This is a no holds bar, no editing show. So thank you so much for joining us.
You bet.
Okay, do I have Bjorn? You're the only one that
Yes.
Did I say your name correctly?
You did.
Perfect.
In Sweden, the J's are like Y's.
I love it. Well, this show should air tomorrow night, so that's the good news. So you don't have to like speak in generic terms. The only problem is the whole news cycle could change the way things are going by tomorrow night. So, but that's just what we're gonna have to play until November, the game we're playing.
Awesome.
So thank you guys for joining me. I think I've got Larry and Lionel. So Larry, Lionel, Bjorn, should be fun. Thank you, gentlemen. See you in a minute.
Indeed.
Yep, they can all hear. Can everybody hear me? Larry?
Yeah. I hear you
Lionel?
fine.
Lionel,
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, just making sure. I like the pink tie. Are we in a different place today, or we're not at home?
Nope.
You're
The
at
tie
home?
is blue. The shirt is pink.
Oh, interesting. And you're still there. Larry, how are you doing? You're in Texas, aren't you?
No, I'm in Loudoun County. I have an office in Texas, though.
Okay, well, for some reason, why did I think you were in Texas? Maybe you just give me that Texas appeal.
I probably have done the show or two from my Texas office.
Okay, maybe that's what it is. So you're in where?
Loudoun County.
Oh.
The home of the school board fight.
Yes. We got it, guys? Perfect. We will get started. Okay. I am actually going to carry this today because the skirt keeps riding up. Not going to pick her nose. Her teeth are pretty nice, though. They're all, I'll give her a compliment. Give me 1 second, guys. I need to turn off. It seems like every week offers a different twist to the 2024 campaign. Some predicted moments and some not. The upcoming weeks are no different, with the Republican presidential candidate facing the possibility of immediately being thrown into jail, and the Democratic candidate facing the same situation that took out her predecessor. I'm Scotty Nell Hughes, and this is Perspective. On September 10th, in the city of brotherly love, a debate between the Republican and Democrat candidates will occur. And while future debates are speculation, none have been confirmed. Maybe because on September 18th, the Republican nominee is set to appear for sentencing by New York Judge Manchin, which could take the presidential candidate off the campaign trail and into a jail cell. And while Democrats consider this to be in their favor, their past predictions have turned out to be some of their most extensive failures and have resulted in the current change of their candidate. How will the following two known significant events in the 2024 campaign transpire? Well, let's bring in our panel and let's ask them our questions. We have Bjorn Handin, strategist of McShane LLC, political consultants, Lionel, attorney and media analyst, and Larry Ward, chairman of Constitutional Rights PAC. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me on, I think it's going to be probably two of the most historical events, whether you're talking about the sentencing or the debate. I want to start off with you, Lionel, on this because you've kind of been covering this for us in our questioning. What do you think the sentence will be for President Trump? And do you think that Judge Merchan will throw him in jail immediately, especially in what's rumored to be a place like Rikers Island?
No, it'll be at best a suspended sentence of some form. He will not actually be physically placed into custodial custody, which is redundant. Rikers Island, no, there's no way. Not to mention, from a logistics point of view, he having the Secret Service, it doesn't really work that way. But Judge Merchan would want to do that. If there was any way he could do that, he would. But what they probably will do is they'll do some type of either a suspended, theoretically some type of quote probation. But what I predict is that they will sentence him, if you will, on the prior contempt citations, if you will, and that could be anything from, believe it or not, showing up to a kind of a timeout, like a detention. I know it may sound crazy, but something that would allow him to quote, satisfy the sentence, but he will not spend a day locked up with the metal cup saying screw, with a number. And final word is, if through some crazy machination, hand him the presidency, he's won.
Well, that is interesting because I do want to look at that perspective because, Larry, let's just imagine, even though Lionel says it's not going to happen, and normally Lionel's been pretty correct, but I can't put anything past Judge Merchan, I'll be honest with you. He's done some things that I've literally scratched my head, both legally as well as from a PR standpoint. But if President Trump is somehow sent to jail, how do you think Trump's supporters will respond? And do you think this is that gaslighting event that Democrats are hoping for?
Well, they will respond exactly how you think they will respond. He will have the greatest fundraising 2 months in history. They will show up at the polls. They will show up to work the polls. There will be the biggest outcry, and more importantly, the Democrats will lose the joy that they've so hard worked to build this perception that Kamala Harris's joy. They will all of a sudden start looking like tyrants, the tyrants that they are. But look, I agree with what was just said. The Democrats have exactly what they want. They have the convict label that she is going to use over and over again over the next 2 months, where they say he is a convicted convict, and they're just going to completely drum that particular issue to death. And look, Trump is going to win on appeal. This was a complete farce of a case. There was actually no crime committed. They're indicting. They convicted him on absolutely nothing. This is a complete political prosecution. But they're not going to go as far as to lock him up, because that would just be insane. And again, the campaign has changed. This isn't the Joe Biden campaign. This is the Kamala feel-good campaign, and you can't be the feel-good candidate if you're locking away your political opponents.
Okay, but so I've got Larry and Lionel on one side. Bjorn, do you agree with them that you will not see a sentence come down from the judge that will put Trump behind the jail cells? And if it does, it will have the exact same effect as every other ruling this judge has, which is record fundraising and record support for the former president.
Well, you have to remember what the original plan was. And the original plan seems to have been to knock him off of out of the nomination, right? You had, in fact, a lot of neocon Republicans that were doing their best to try to grease those wheels. So it didn't work. I think jailing might be indeed Plan B, and then then it's on.
Well, and that's interesting, Bjorn. So I do like the fact that we call this perspective. Everybody has a perspective on it. Bjorn, I'm not going to lie to you. I have several in my world who actually think you're correct. And I have talked to Secret Service agents. They do have a plan in place if he is thrown in jail, which makes me think maybe they think this is coming down. If that happens, do you think that the public will react? Is this kind of that gaslighting event that we know Democrats are hoping he will get, sort of like a J6 response from his supporters, who will obviously be very upset this is even happening?
They've been laying the groundwork for this. All across the world, there's been a chilling effect on political self-expression. People are being jailed for nothing other than exercising the right to comment on these happenings. So, yeah, they're preparing for an outrage and an outcry, and we'll see if they've been preparing enough.
Lionel, I have to ask you from a legal perspective, because I keep scratching my head how we were even able to get this far. You would think that somehow that anybody with any good legal expertise that was surrounded by Trump could have gotten this thrown out based on lack of evidence, all sorts of things. Do you think his legal team has actually served him justice in all of these court proceedings?
No, not at all. But that being said, that's like saying, how did your legal team do in a kangaroo court? I want you to if ever you want to win a bet, walk into any courtroom or any legal bar, offer them $1,000 to any lawyer, judge, law clerk, and say, here's $1,000 if you can explain to me the legal basis by which Trump was convicted of the 34 cases. Nobody, and Scotty, I've known you for a long time. I'm not exaggerating. Right. We don't know what this is. The other ones we do. They're very simple. You know, documents and lying. E. Jean Carroll, got it. This one, we're not sure about. Now, let me also say something, that Trump lives in a different inertial world. His parallel universe doesn't apply to us. If you and I were to be arrested, we'd be either let go or cases dropped, or we'd be set into prison. His works differently. He also is the worst defendant ever. The worst. They tell him, I would have told him, don't mention E. Jean Carroll's name one time. Nothing would drive her more crazy. Or that Dusty Saddles or whatever her name is, these trollops. Don't mention their names. And he can't. He can't. He has some kind of a weird kind of a reaction. So that being said, but understand what he's doing right now. He is doing something which is, believe it or not, driving the Democrats crazy because they can't kill him.
Right.
He's like this thing that keeps popping up again, and it's not whack-a-mole. It's this zombie, this Dracula that it just keeps coming back and coming back. And he's like Saturday Night Live, the thing that wouldn't leave. He's beautiful.
But that's the thing, Lionel. I don't know if it drives the Democrats more angry, or as Bjorn pointed out, the neocons within the Republican Party right now that are being just as dangerous as they were back in 2016. And they're doing probably more of an aggressive counter-Trump move than anyone else. But, you know, you have to wonder, and this, Larry, I want to ask you this, because how does this affect those that are not so politically involved, that are just kind of watching from the outside? They're the ones that consider themselves to be independent or moderate on both the Republicans and Democrats. How do you think they're viewing all of these proceedings and the result of what this judge brings down?
Well, you know, the Democrats are going to view this as, hey, let's lock them up. Let's lock up everybody who voted for Trump. I mean, that's really what they think. You know, Dan Bongino often says that we think that the other side, has bad ideas, and they think we're bad people. That's really what's going on. So the left it really wants us all locked up and really wants to throw away the key. If they do throw Trump in prison, it will be it will be a constant assassination attempt, quite frankly, and that will be the method that they'll do it. They'll lock him up, and maybe the prison guard will fall asleep, and he'll hang himself, like Jeffrey Epstein did, and they'll pretend that the cameras were off again. So that's really, would be the play if they did lock him up, and they would finish the job there. But I still don't think that that's going to happen. I do think they think they've got close enough where they can get away with a midnight truckload of mail-in ballots to give them the victory, and that's the hand I think they're going to play.
Well, it's interesting because
Absolutely. I'm sorry.
I love that Lionel's excited about it because I think your answer was the same. But it's going to be interesting, though, to also talk about the security that would go on. You're right. We wouldn't want to see him Epstein himself and the speculation that go around it. But, Bjorn, real quick, I've got to ask you this. President Trump is sentenced to jail. Do you think, whether his team is inept or not, that they should seek an immediate stay by the Supreme Court? And should the Supreme Court even involve itself if asked to do so?
Well, if something doesn't happen, we are facing the end of this consensual government, right? There's going to be at some point reprisal prosecutions in red states. I can imagine places where I live in Idaho, they'll blow off a Vincent Bugliosi book and start prosecuting anybody involved in the Iraq War. There's no end to this. Once you go down this road, there's just no end.
And you open up Pandora's box. Bjorn, Lionel, Larry, I want you to stay right there. Because after the break, we are going to discuss the other major upcoming event on the campaign trail. And start on 3 and turn to 2? Okay. 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 Bjorn, Lionel, Larry, I want you to stay right there. Because after the break, we're going to discuss the other major upcoming event on the campaign trail. That's the debate between Donald J. Trump and Kamala Harris. Well, what will it look like, and how can President Trump emerge from it without being painted as a chauvinist or racist by the mainstream media? Okay. Back up my chair?
Yeah, we've
Center it over there. Yeah. Perfect. I'm fine right here. Okay. I apologize. Bjorn, Lionel, Larry, I want you to stay right there because after the break, we are going to discuss the other major upcoming event on the campaign trail. That would be the debate between Donald J. Trump and Kamala Harris. What is it going to look like? And can President Trump actually emerge from it without being painted as a chauvinist or a racist by the mainstream media? Perfect. Right. On September 10th, former President Donald Trump and current Vice President Kamala Harris will face off in a televised debate. The date, which was initially chosen for a discussion between Donald Trump and current President Joe Biden, was controversial, as each political campaign had its wish list regarding how the debate should be handled. And those wishes changed once Kamala Harris became the leader of the Democrat ticket. Wishes that were not granted, and the same rules of the debate, which most say was the public downfall of Joe Biden's re-election campaign, are going to be enforced. But will this debate be different from the one in June because of the new person at the Democratic podium? And do you think Kamala Harris wishes Trump's sentencing was before the September 10th debate? Well, I want to bring back in our panel. Bjorn Handine, strategist, McShane LLC, political consultant. Lionel, attorney and media analyst. Larry Ward, chairman of Constitutional Rights PAC. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, so I'm going to start with you, Larry, on this one, because do you think President Trump will learn from Tulsi Gabbard, who is doing his preparations, how the destruction of Vice President Harris was in 2020, and take some of those lessons?
100%. Look, it's a completely different scenario. She's running for president. She's running against Trump, who they're going to call, no matter what he says, a chauvinist and a racist. There's no way to get around that. But Trump should take the approach he had both with Hillary Clinton and with Joe Biden in the last debate, where he was somewhat dismissive of them. He let Hillary speak. He let Joe Biden speak. And with Joe Biden, he was actually a little less combative because they turned off his mic. Actually, I think it was the greatest thing that CNN could have done for President Trump was to let Joe Biden speak. And they should let Kamala speak. She's going to talk herself into circles. And then just look at her a little dismissively and say, I don't even think she knows what she just said. The same thing that he said to Biden, and just make it about not only is she incompetent, but she's a phony. That's the word he has to continue to use. I wish that was the nickname he gave her, was phony Kamala Harris. Yeah, she's a commie, but she's also phony, and she's a fake. And you saw it with that fake, Foghorn Leghorn accent in Detroit this weekend. So, I mean, that's a tactic I think Trump should take.
Okay, so Lionel, I'm going to ask you, and maybe hopefully you'll be completely honest, because normally you never hold anything back. What is Donald Trump's Achilles heel that Kamala Harris is going to try to aim for, that if she brings it up, you're going to go, oh no? What is that subject? What is it? What can she do to him that's going to get him thrown off?
Nothing. To ignore him. Here would be my advice to him, and he wouldn't be listening. Number one, as we say in West Tampa, Kamala, which is what she is. How bad. She is a dream come true. And if he misses this opportunity, Scotty, for not being rude, not being chauvinistic, to annihilate her. Because I would say, Mr. President, you have one goal and one goal. Tomorrow, I want everybody in the blogosphere, everybody in the social media world to ask one question. Did you see that? He has to ask two questions. Forced, I don't care if it comes up. Number one, look at her and bark. Do you believe that Israel is committing genocide right now in Gaza? What? And they're going to say, wait a minute, that's not what we agreed to. And he turns around and says, let me tell you something. When you're president, you don't get to tell Xi Jinping or Vladimir Putin what you agreed to. And number two, do you think it's okay for a man to take a woman into a boxing ring, beat the hell out of her, and we give him a gold medal? Do you think there's a difference between men and women? Yes or no? Answer the question. Now, I promise you, she will become unglued, and it will cause George Stephanopoulos or whoever the hell it is to come to her debate. And the next day, people will say, if you thought June 27th was good with Biden, you ain't seen nothing yet. We live in a brutal world of trolling and annihilation. No gentlemanly nothing. Make this historic.
Well, it's interesting. It's actually Lindsey Graham supposedly is still going to be the mentor of the same woman who compared Trump to be of the KKK during the DNC. But she's the fair and balanced moderator that ABC is going to go with. I guess we should be lucky it's not Donna Brazile, and that hopefully the questions we kept from her. You know, Bjorn, speaking of that, do you agree with Lionel? Do you think President Trump can actually focus on policy? Or will he go for the personal attacks? Because that's what's actually the headlines, and Trump has learned to use those for his advantage.
I think Lionel is quite correct that if Trump focuses on policy, then he will outshine Kamala. She cannot focus on policy. Her voting base is a coalition of the fringes, and they all have different and separate interests on the issues. And if she spends too much time, she must have a don't touch list a mile long. She can't talk about all those things that Lionel said. She can't even talk about fracking. Definitely not any kind of foreign policy, coherent view on foreign policy. If Trump can outclass her on the issues, I think he's got this.
Well, and it'll be different, though, because I've got to ask you on this, Larry, because will he debate Vice President Harris differently than he did President Biden? And will he do it differently from how he did Hillary Clinton? If so, how does Trump avoid looking, first of all, like not like a chauvinist or a racist individual? You said it's already predetermined no matter what he does. He could just get up there and breathe, and he's going to get those labels put on him.
100%. I mean, look, he doesn't have to worry about that. As a matter of fact, I would put that as far out of his mindset as possible and have him just stick to the issues, stick to Kamala's weaknesses. Look at her in the eye and say, look, you say you're for the people. What have you done for the black people? What have you done for the young people? What have you done for the Hispanic people? And separate Kamala Harris from her base and actually, point out that unemployment was the lowest it's ever been in the African American community under Trump. But it's soared under Biden Harris. Point out how the border has really affected the Hispanic community, particularly the immigrants who are being trafficked into the United States. Point out how the young people are dying from fentanyl overdoses because you've agreed to let millions and millions and millions of people come over without any oversight, and fentanyl is pouring across the border into these gangs, with these gangs. So that's what I would focus on, and I would separate her from her base.
Well, there's one thing about the focus of the person you're debating. The other focus is actually of the moderator themselves. Lionel kind of touched on this. But Bjorn, I've got to ask you, do you think the moderators will focus on trying to destroy President Trump and help Vice President Harris, as most conservatives believe?
Oh, there's no question about that. That's just we consider the media as part of the same war party that the Democrats and half the Republicans are in, and Donald Trump is threat number one to that to their agenda. Trump is entering enemy territory, and he knows it.
And he's definitely welcome to it. So I've got to ask you, Lionel, on this one, because what will Vice President Harris focus on as it pertains to President Trump? We've asked what he could say to get him off, but what actually should she be focusing on if she wants to come out of this with a win?
Well, she can't do it. She's got to get away from this logorrhea, this word salad, this emotional incontinence. But I want you to understand something. The reason why I think it's important to talk about issues, tough issues like Israel, whatever, is not to take a position one way or the other. But right now, the Democratic Party is fractured by this. You've got factions. You've got the Bernie Sanders and the Bernie Bros, and you've got the AOC crowd, and you've got the squad, and you've got a lot of people who are absolutely adamant against this our foreign policy leadership, which, by the way, the Democratic parties, many factions believe to be identical to the Republicans, to force her to take a stand. And second of all, the number one issue, I can go into any group, any population, any demographic, black, white, gay, straight, I don't care who it is. The number one where everybody will agree with you is to say, what is this nonsense about men and women being the same? Where did we ever lose? We could talk about policy and immigration. We could talk about war. But did you ever think, ladies and gentlemen, that we'd be arguing or you would be seeing potential Supreme Court nominees asking, is there a difference between men and women? That is the issue that everybody says, you know what? That's my favorite. Let's don't worry about issues that are too particular. You've got a few minutes to remember to go in and to devastate her and annihilate her and make her turn to her Democratic stronghold and say, guess what? I'm a Democratic version of a neocon. I'm a sock puppet. I don't have any position. You got me. He found me out. I don't know what I'm talking about. Whoever pays me, whoever props me up, whatever accent you want, I'll do it. I'm artificial. I'm synthetic. I'm Kamala.
Okay, so I'm playing with fire here because I know if I ever had to go into a debate, I'd have Lionel be my trainer on this one because I know he'd hit the hardest punches. I've always thought to stay away from anything that has to do with gender when you have Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump. I feel like you're setting Kamala up for her one-liners, her meme lines like, look, I'm equal to you. I'm on the stage. We're both aiming for the same office. There is no difference between the two of us. You know, Larry?
You're equal to me?
Well, we're both on the same stage. I just feel like you're opening the can of worms. So we'll see how that plays out because I'm worried how that he would actually handle that. Larry, you know, on this side of it, when you're looking for the debate tonight, or the debate in the few weeks, what is going to be the topic that you think will be the one that potentially could separate the two and make people go, yeah, I'm changing my vote? Is there one?
You know, I think most people are locked into who they're going to vote for. We're talking about the independents, and really, it's going to be, and it could, you could be right, Lionel. It could be the gender issue. It absolutely could be just the performance, because the performance does matter. And if Kamala comes out and she's you know, a very good prosecutor and tries to prosecute her case, and Trump is a little bit off, you know, people are going to run and say, hey, Harris looks good. And I think the bar is very low, like it was for Biden, for a lot of people to say Kamala looks good. But I actually don't think she's capable. I think she's going to have a lot of word salads. She's going to have a lot of circular logic, and it's going to implode on her. That's my opinion.
Your last word, is this going to be a lot of memes that come out of Kamala Harris's mouth no matter what? I mean, they said her interview on CNN was fantastic, and I think that they were watching a different 20 minutes than I saw. What do you have anything else except memes coming out of her for that night?
You know, that's all she's got, right? It's like she's got to appeal to those emotional triggers for her to her low IQ voters, right? She's going to be her main job is to paint Trump as weird. Mm-hmm. That's what she's got. Is she's going to paint herself as joyful and Trump as weird, and it's not going to be about policy. It's going to be simply about emotions.
Well, if she wants to do that, I would not have her laugh at anything. I want to thank you, Bjorn Handine, Lionel, and Larry Ward. Definitely three men who are far from being weird. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks.
You know, Democrats who often decry leaders of other countries throwing their political opponents into jail seem to oddly be silent when it is happening in their own country. But did you know this is not the first time in American history that a political party in power has jailed its opponents? Back in 1862, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Presidential Proclamation of '94, which suspended the writ of habeas corpus during the Civil War. Now, Abraham Lincoln was known as the Great Emancipator, but not many know he actually jailed as many as 2,000 political opponents without any charges or trial. Speed forward, June 1918, as World War I was coming to a close. President Woodrow Wilson charged Eugene Debs, the Socialist Party of America's presidential candidate, with 10 counts of sedition. Now, he was eventually found guilty of incitement and obstruction and sentenced to 10 years in prison. And all of this was because Debs delivered a scathing anti-war speech that essentially condemned the draft. This was not the only example of Woodrow Wilson jailing his political opponents. But this is not the past. And while political antics are familiar, the people's reactions are unpredictable. This is where a well-informed, calm electorate is needed. And while judgments and sentencing are essential, public response is crucial. Democrats are counting on a response reminiscent of J6 to help engage and inspire the anyone but Trump vote to the polls. Republicans need to remember this. And while it will be tempting to try to engage voters out of anger, when you are fighting a political and media system that has no shame in putting a candidate who has never received a single vote in an election as president, there is no boundaries or conscience to what actions they will take in order to achieve victory. But hey, that's just my perspective. You can find me on X at Scotty N. Hughes, and let me know your perspective by using the hashtag perspective. See you next time.
hear me? Okay, and I'm looking okay on your screen? One second. Better? I'm sorry? Oh, over here? Is that, okay, better? I'm getting a negative. You want me to try it on my phone? All right, well, this is my computer. You want me to try it on the Zoom on my phone? Better? That looks a little bit clearer. Thank you. I can hear you. How am I? I'm wearing my headphones because it's a half hour. This way, there'll be no problem in case my cat walks in or something. It's okay? Okay. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Okay, great. So can I ask you a favor? I want the show clip. I want to promote it out and everything and send it out to all the various people involved with my fashion show so that we can really get maximum attention to this. So can you email me the show is, when you have it edited and prepared so I could just get out the link? Okay. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Thank you.
Two-year-old, 28-year-old. I don't know.
article and then everyone was down. Yeah. This one too, huh? Okay. So this one for our lookbook, huh? Our trunk show book later. Okay, that's.
Ivanka, you've got your own business, and I wonder what you say to the women who've started this Grab Your Wallet campaign on Twitter to boycott your collection. How does that make you feel? And what do you want to say to those women who are doing it?
Well, the beauty of America is people can do what they like, but I prefer to talk to the millions, tens of millions of American women who are inspired by the brand and the message that I've created. My advocacy of women trying to empower them at all aspects of their life started long before this presidential campaign did. I've never politicized that message.
Wrapped up totally for now, yeah. Yes. Hello. Hi. Hold on. Hi. Hi, Jose. That's good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. No problem. Let me hold it. Yeah, I think that's good. But the pink color there. Should we do red? Let me just see. No, not that one. No. You go and check to see. I want to see this print here. Can you see this? Right? Okay, better that way. The cowboy print, right? You want anything on this side? But yeah, well, I thought I want to see the jacket. No, the jacket. Yeah, that jacket. Yeah, maybe push it out a little bit. Yeah, now I can see it. Yeah, leave it like this here. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that's good. So can see some beading, and then yeah, I think everything is good. Done. For example, we're going to put this away.
On today's notes of things I did not know.
TV. Why did they make it so complicated?
It's really simple.
Yeah, wow, my brain wired differently, you know.
There's an easier way, but you have to go from you can control your phone with the app, with the TV, but I think it's gonna be a little harder for you.
Oh my God, no. I can't wait.
Hi, Cindy. How are you?
Hi.
Okay.
Hi, Cindy.
Hello, Zhang. I would say I
Hi,
hope you two
Scotty,
know
how
each
are
other.
you? I know.
Are you
Do I
kidding?
need
I'm going to tell the
headphone or
best
I'm okay?
stories. He's like my
Do I need
brother from
headphone
another
or I don't
mother.
need
We were
headphone?
on.
I figured that would
I'm
be.
going to tell
Do I
stories
need
about
headphone?
him.
I don't think they can hear me.
Wait, hi, can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Oh, good. Do I need headphone or I don't need headphone?
I don't think you need headphones now.
Okay, good. Give it to you.
Okay.
I'm just wearing it so that in case there's any noise.
That's great.
I'm going to tell a story how we were on GQ, how I brought Rudy Giuliani front row to his. I have a couple of great things that he attribute to what a great designer he is, and is the most successful despite all the bias against him at New York Fashion. And I could tell it firsthand because I've been with him through all of it, right, Zhang?
Yes.
I brought Janine Pirro. I brought so many people to his front row.
I love it. Okay, so Cindy, is it gross? Is that, how do you say it?
Gross, like Gross.
That's what I thought. I was making sure. And it's Zhang Toy, correct? I know that.
Yes.
That's what I figured. Just want to double check.
Wait to finally meet you.
It is great. Well, I got to see your show in Nashville when you did the Symphony Ball fashion show a few years ago.
Oh, you did? Were you there?
It was amazing. It was beautiful. Love
Thank
all
you.
of your pieces. So looking forward to
We
that.
raised for that Symphony Ball, the runway show, we raised the most money for the symphony. No one even come close second. Far away.
It was
today. Every year, no one even come close to what we raised from that fashion show for the symphony.
It was incredible. It was purely works of art working, and that's why I was glad to be there. I was honored to be there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Well, go in. So we have 30 minutes of a show. Most times they tell you to do short answers. Do your thought. Complete your thought on this. These are not short answers. It's just the two of you, the three of us, having a conversation as if we were sipping tea by the fire.
Okay, sounds great.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think we are good whenever you guys are.
Okay. Can I also share the story how I called him at the Met Gala? Ralph Lauren copied his dress, and we got it in page 6 of the Post.
I remember. I've read about that. That's amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah,
lots of story.
Do we have all the goodies? We went to Bedminster together.
Yeah.
I called him right away, be my date.
Cindy is one of my biggest fans.
I love it. Okay, well, we're going to get this
Great.
started. You
Okay,
can share
great.
all the stories.
Beautiful.
Yes. I will definitely make it work. They're just so exciting, and so it's going to be, I'm bouncing back and forth. They have so many stories. It's like, maybe we just need cameras, you know, and actually have this at a dinner table. Okay. According to the media, politics and fashion collided at the DNC. But while some might just see a pantsuit on stage, every item worn by those who took to the stage was carefully selected to send a message even more important than the words being spoken. Did this subliminal tactic actually work? And were the Democrats able to make politics fashionable again? Well, at least enough to motivate their base. I'm Scotty Nell Hughes, and this is Perspective. Whether it be for the presidential nominee Kamala Harris, where the headlines from the Washingtonian was how Kamala Harris's Converse sneakers are changing fashion and politics, or it was the vice president and other politicians are redefining the Washington dress code with sporty shoes, or sporting the Chucks in Vogue, or to the vice presidential nominee Tim Walz's camouflage hunting and farming gear. Can Tim Walz's wardrobe win the White House was the headline. Now, the vice president's nominee's workwear is a central conversation on the election trail. The mainstream media offered little criticism of anything from the DNC. They were very generous in complimenting the convention and their slate of speakers to help fill the coverage of the week along political events. It's not like the media has been given much material involving policy points on crucial issues like record high inflation, an unsecured border, and foreign policy to use. But it was this headline, however, that caught my eye from the well-established media outlet, The Washington Post. Fashion is back in politics. Michelle Obama's appearance was just one piece of a DNC convention that so far has centered fashion to a surprising degree. But did it ever really leave? Or is it like everything else in America today? Is it only recognized if you are on one side of the political aisle? Well, I want to bring in our panel to discuss. Zhang Toy, fashion designer of the House of Toy, and Cindy Gross, the president of Cindy's Corner. Thank you so much, both of you, who talking to you before the show was quite fun. I wish that I could just have a pre-show with the two of you sharing stories in the fashion world, but we're here actually to talk about politics and how it plays out in the fashion world. So, Cindy, I'm actually going to ask you this first. How much does politics play out in the fashion world currently?
First, I want to thank you for having me on, and I want to thank you for including me with Zhang, because Zhang is actually one of my inspirations for the first patriotic fashion show ever to hit New York Fashion Week that I created in response to the years of watching people like Zhang Toy, who I consider, besides being my brother from another mother, one of the most creative and successful designers. He's today's Ralph Rucci. If you know who Ralph Rucci is or goes back, his designs are incredible. And I watched for years how Zhang, with his A-list of customers and celebrity front row participants, have been treated differently, and how Zhang's designs have been treated by the fashion press, and how he's been treated by the various fashion organizations. So between that and the fact that on November 6th, the CFDA and the Vogue magazine are collaborating to do a march in Washington to get out the vote. They claim it's nonpartisan, but we know that the organizers of this march to get out the vote are not supporting the Trump administration, because so many of them have 8 years of history either not including the first Trump family in their media, and or actually calling out Trump's policies during his tenure as 45. So we now have a place where people, it's not just MAGA and Trump clothing, it's designers that have patriotic, conservative values that are tired of being treated differently. And to the customer, I've had my own experience as a customer, as a media person, where I'm being told I can't advertise on your radio show because you're a Republican, yet they want me to buy their products. So the combination of working with Zhang all these years and watching what's going on in politics made me decide to create the show.
Well, I'm glad you did the show, but Zhang, this is why I wanted to start off with Cindy asking her this question first, because I knew that she would sing your praises probably better than anyone listening to you before the show. And rightfully so, you deserve them. And being someone who has been outspoken about your conservative leanings in fashion, What percentage do you feel like of the fashion industry actually leans Democrat or Republicans? Or is it like everything else that we know, that those are just the ones that are the loud ones in the room? Are conservatives, do they exist in the fashion industry?
Thank you, Scotty. Thank you, Cindy. Yes, they do assist. I would say 90% of the fashion industry, unfortunately, are lean to more Democrat. And there's some who are conservative, but they're afraid. They're hiding in the closet. They're afraid to come out, and they're afraid to be canceled, like I did when I show my love for America for 2019, when I decided to show red, white, and blue collection to say thank you to America. Before I feature my next runway show, the 30th anniversary, which I pay tribute to my home country of Malaysia. And I thought it's only correct if I say thank you, America, to allow me to live the American dream. And of course, that very collection, my great friend and biggest fan, Kimberly Guilfoyle, just started dating Don Jr. Of course, you're going to bring Don to the fashion show. And of course, the press went crazy. We got tons and tons of press all over the world. But at the same time, the mainstream media got angry at me for to dare to show a red and white and blue collection. And I honestly did not do it for political reason. I'm doing to say thank you, America. I love this country. I came here 43 years ago with $300 in my pocket and worked very, very hard to achieve the American dream. So all I want to say is red, white, and blue, a patriotic, and thank you. And now, since then, I've been blacklisted by every one of the mainstream media, but that's okay. I look at it, I'm not angry, I'm not bitter. I look at it that way. I say, it is their loss. It's their loss to miss a beautiful fashion show if they put politics in front of them, but I'm not angry at them. I just think that it's silly of them to cancel creativity. But if someday they decided to come back, I will embrace them with open arms.
Well,
we don't cancel them like they do with us.
And that's a big thing of that, because Cindy, I have to ask you, do you think fashion should actually be considered a constitutional right, as an example, and protected under freedom of speech?
To a point, like everything else, because of what's going on in the world today, I believe in the freedom of speech, but when it endangers people, then it becomes an issue. There is nothing wrong with saying "Make America Great Again," or I'll give you the best example. Zhang Toy did a New York collection. It was gorgeous. It was inspired by the Empire State Building and his love of New York. And at the Met Gala, a very famous designer actually copied this, and it was worn by Alicia Keys. And I called Zhang immediately and I said, "Zhang, I think that's your design from last year." Well, the press went crazy over this, that we called it out because that's one of the leading designers who support the Democrats. Another thing I could tell you is I'm very fortunate that I do know a lot of the people in Republican world, and we were featured in Gentleman's Quarterly because Rudy Giuliani was on the cover. And we got a lot of press from that. And you know what? If we see something, I can tell you, Zhang doesn't attack the Democrats, whatever they do. I don't. But boy, do they attack us. I'm getting attacked from the Democrats about doing a fashion show for patriots.
And that's it. It's always about the positive about your side, not necessarily aiming at the negatives of the other side. So, Zhang, you talked about the American dream and how you're really just showing your gratefulness to a country and everything they've given to you. Grateful to New York first, and then grateful to the country. Yes. How does it affect who is in office, the fashion industry? How are you affected by exactly who's at the top, calling the shots in the Oval Office?
No, I wasn't affected by anybody. I'm a patriot in America. I love this country, and I dress everybody. I have a lot of clients who are Democrat, who know that I'm a conservative. They love me like I do, and the customer-wise, we never have problem. I have many liberal clients that love me, and I love them. We don't let politics get in the way. We do disagree on politics, which is sometimes healthy. But it is the media part that I think the mainstream media is just getting worse and worse. They just cancel you, but it's okay. But the more they cancel me, the more of my clients, especially the conservative one, are out there even buy even more from me. They were there to support me. Last year was my best year in business in 34 years, and this year I think might break the record of last year. So that's how much. Thank you for blacklisted me.
Well, and that's
my
interesting.
Even more.
You bring out the blacklisting because, like I said, that's made you more of a story that other people were familiar now of your story. Cindy, maybe you could speak to this, because censorship and restrictions we know are placed on conservative businesses in other industries, especially on social media. We have now learned that everything from Facebook to Snapchat, and before Twitter was bought by Elon Musk, it definitely had a major control on conservative voices. Does having your personal opinions as conservative cause your journey to be more challenging, you think, than your counterparts with the other side of the views?
Sorry to jump in.
Yes. Two ways.
Challenges are good. It make you work even harder.
Yes.
It make me work even harder to get to prove that my business, I'm not going to go bankrupt because of them boycotting me or blacklisting me. And thanks to Elon Musk for buying Twitter and turning it into X. It's the best freedom platform, the best thing that Elon can do for every one of us in America and in the world, the freedom of speech. Remember how all the conservative was censored and canceled on all the social platforms?
Well, and I don't think you being so positive.
I'm going to disagree because I just got hacked on Twitter today very badly. And it's not the first time. And I am always shadow banned. My accounts are always deleted when I put something up in regard to politics or something as a Jewish activist, something pro-Israel. But I'm going to just say something about New York Fashion Week. You know, people think of New York Fashion Week and they think about the Mercedes-Benz tents and Sex in the City when they had it in the movie. Every year, because of this wokeness society, these fashion shows have gone down, less days, less shows, many people aren't coming. Now you have the safety factor in the city. People out of town won't come, it costs too much. At least half the hotels people used to stay in are now shelters. They can't go to restaurants. They can't enjoy the nightlife. It's easier to find other ways to sell your product cheaper. And influencers on social media don't sell product. It's the personal relationships you have with designers that really sell.
That's excellent
100%.
point. Yes.
100%.
Exactly. Well, Zhang Toy, Cindy Gross, stay right there, because I want to pause for a commercial break. Because when we return, we're actually going to look at a few specific examples in the fashion industry that don't even try to cover their political bias, and why being considered a conservative in this industry can quickly make you go out of style. In July of 2018, Ivanka Trump closed the doors on her fashion line, including mid-priced workwear, jewelry, and shoes. Her lines had been carried by some of the largest upscale retailers like Neiman Marcus. Still, following her father's election in 2016, after protests and calls for boycotts, most of Ivanka Trump's lines found themselves in discount retail shops like TJ Maxx and Marshall's.
Ivanka, you've got your own business on. I wonder what you say to the women who've started this grab your wallet campaign on Twitter to boycott your collection. How does that make you feel? And what do you want to say to those women who are doing it?
Well, the beauty of America is people can do what they like, but I'd prefer to talk to the millions, tens of millions of American women who are inspired by the brand and the message that I've created. My advocacy of women, trying to empower them at all aspects of their life, started long before this presidential campaign did. I've never politicized that message.
But was this a result of the fashion industry's bias against those on the right side of the aisle? So I want to bring back in our panel to discuss. We have Zhang Toy, fashion designer, the House of Toy. Cindy Groves, president, Cindy's Corner. I want to say, Zhang, normally I'd be wearing one of your pieces. I'm actually, I guess, now wearing a collector's item as one of the few Ivanka Trump's dresses that I still had in my closet. I will not give it up because maybe this might be in a museum one day for what they did. Zhang, when you looked at everything that was going on with Ivanka, how did that read to you? And do you think that Donald Trump's politics actually killed his daughter's fashion line?
I think so. I remember reading up about even Nordstrom canceled Ivanka collection. I think Ivanka is great. And Ivanka actually modeled for me for a total of 5 times. When she was 16 years old, she modeled for me. When she wanted to model, Mommy is a huge customer. The late Ivana Trump was a Zhang Toy customer until from 1995 to she died, and she's a great friend and a very loyal client. And Ivanka modeled for me when she was 16 years old for a total of 5 times. And I think Ivanka's collection is great, but I think personally, I think we should fight back. Ivanka should fight back and reintroduce the collection again, because there will be millions and millions of beautiful young conservative girls that will want to dress Ivanka, like both of you. I think she shouldn't give in to them. Fight back. I come up with another great Ivanka collection, from the shoe to the clothes to jewelry. Ivanka, they are amazing. They were great. They cater to the conservative. Half the country is conservative. Can you imagine how many conservative young girls will want to dress and look like Ivanka? And also talking about being biased, imagine Melania Trump is one of the most elegant and stylish first lady we have since Jackie O. And for them for Vogue not to put her on the cover of the magazine, which I personally think is a disgrace, but also it's not very smart business move. You know, you look at it that way, but how many Vogue sell 1 million copies of Vogue every month? If Anna Wintour was smart enough to put Melania on the cover, 10 million deplorables will buy at least 3 to 5 copies of them to collect them. That will be 30 to 50 million copies of Vogue sold that month. Imagine how big that business is. Meanwhile, Condé Nast are struggling financially, isn't it?
You know, it's interesting you mentioned the money aspect of it. And that's the thing that I've got to get into, Cindy, is on that side of it, because why don't conservative consumers use their spending power to support the conservative fashion industry, if they even get to know that it exists out there?
So I'm going to disagree with you totally. Oh.
Can I just
go ahead quickly, because I'm going to add into everything. I have a lot to say about what you said.
We're talking about this. I think there's one weakness in the conservative media. Why do conservative media only cover politics and money and finance 24/7? We should have a lifestyle section for the conservative women who love great lifestyle. Even the conservative young working class, they love to look beautiful for their men. We need a lifestyle show that cater to the conservative women that love to look beautiful
on September 17th.
Right?
Zhang, you're speaking.
I had had a lot to say. First of all, that's why we're doing the show at September 17th at the America First Warehouse, which is really a place that is dedicated to President Trump and the Make America Great movement. Second of all, you're limiting this discussion to women's wear. In my show, we have men's wear, we're having children's wear, all kinds of accessories, entertainers that have been boycotted. Tickets are selling like crazy, and it's not just Trump stuff, it's elegant stuff, just like Zhang's clothing and so many other designers. The other thing I want to say is Democrats think that they are the party of women. And as a Jewish activist and as a Zionist, I'm going to say something right here. There is no way that the Democratic Party is the party of women, allowing since October 7th women to be kidnapped, raped, and executed. That is not the party of women. And we are the party that understand the quality of life, quality of our beauty, and we appreciate law enforcement and keeping our women safe. And I wish the RNC and the Trump team would talk about that more, because that's where he would pick up those suburban women. And anything that we show at the fashion show, if you can't come to New York, we're going to start selling online nationally, because so many of the designers sell on their websites as well, because we want to tell you there are 71 million of us, and we are not giving up.
Well, and Cindy, it's interesting that you brought up the males. You're right, because it's not only Ivanka Trump. Donald Trump had a very successful tie line. You can't find those ties. Those were discontinued as well. And men's fashion, obviously, is very, very popular as well. Zhang, I cannot end this show without actually asking you a fashion question from an expert, a guaranteed, an amazing eye. The pantsuit. You want to talk about fashion and lifestyle? I agree. We need more conservative conversations about it. We need a show focused on it. But this pantsuit has become a major point of debate in political fashion. Do you feel that the power suit that women like Hillary Clinton and now Kamala Harris is sporting, they wore it on their key nights of their campaign trail, is made to actually make them appear more like a man? And how is that different from when a conservative woman, like you mentioned, Melania Trump, she wears her pantsuit?
Right. Well, talking about fashion to begin with, the difference between DNC, manly pantsuits, and the RNC with Melania in that most gorgeous and feminine and couture red skirt suit fitted to her body. There is no comparison. I hate to say that. I'm all for power suit. I'm all for pantsuit. I'm known for my tailoring. We do a lot of beautiful. All my ladies wear a lot of Zhang Toy power, but they're cut close to the body. They're very feminine. They're beautiful. They're glamorous. Not the ugly, dowdy pantsuits that they're wearing at the DNC. I'm sorry to say that, but it's the truth.
Well, and I like the truth.
If I may add in quickly, because I was at the RNC, the DNC between Oprah and Hillary Clinton and Kamala, they were wearing 5- and 6-figure outfits and jewelry in the 6 figures. I mean, she was wearing the gold necklace from Tiffany that's like $56,000. We are talking about the #1 issue, our economy, and how most of the middle class, especially the minorities that they are catering to, Black women, can't afford even food for their families. And these people who are wearing $50,000 necklaces and $20,000 outfits are telling us what to wear and how to spend our money. Doesn't make sense.
Zhang, I want to give you the last word on today's show, because I want to ask you, because obviously I think I know what you're going to say. How optimistic is it, do you think, that in the future we can see more conservative fashion designers like yourself be successful? Or are you going to be just a few that can actually do it?
Well, I hope we could. I believe if anybody like me who can make it and not afraid, I'm encouraging all the young generation, don't let them silence you. Don't let them bully you into the closet. Come out and be proud and work extremely hard and fight for your rightful place in the industry. We need more of us out there.
Well, Zhang Toy, Cindy Gross, I wish you the best with your event, but more importantly, I wish you the best in the future. Regardless of who is elected in November, I hope that your message still continues to grow strong. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much, Scotty. Thank you,
Thank you.
Cindy. Great to see you.
Thank you, Zhang.
You know, the global apparel market is estimated at $1.79 trillion just in 2024, and that is accounting for 1.63% of the world's GDP. The revenue of the apparel market in the United States amounts to $358 billion alone. And while it is not the same revenue as bomb making or military contracts, the fashion industry is a critical player in the health of the trade system in the West and the entire globe. Clothing manufacturers rely on politicians who are friendly to practices that allow their businesses to succeed. This is why it puzzles me that so many in the fashion industry are quick to rally for the Democratic Party. In the past, it's been their policies offered fewer restrictions and lower costs for foreign companies. Still, if your domestic economy is not thriving, consumers will likely not spend money on your products. I mean, this is economics 101. And it applies to every industry reliant on consumers who seem to have an endless pot of money to spend, like the U.S. government, which is the only entity I know that can make being broke always be in style. But hey, that's just my perspective. Find me on X at Scotty N. Hughes and let me know yours by using the hashtag perspective. See you next time. Perfect. Yes, I saw. Yes. I understand. Okay. Good, I'm glad we did, because I can only, so I learned when the camera's right there, I was cutting off that first line, so I was glad, because now I can see it. Okay. 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 Perfect. Fantastic. Perfect. Perfect. Am I doing 1 or 2 for this read? Okay. whether it be for the presidential nominee Kamala Harris, where the headlines from the Washingtonian was how Kamala Harris's Converse sneakers are changing fashion and politics. The vice president and other politicians are redefining the Washington dress code with sporty shoes, or if it's sporting the Chucks on Vogue, or even to the vice presidential nominee Tim Walz, camouflage hunting and farming gear. Can Tim Walz's wardrobe actually win the White House? The vice presidential nominee's workwear is a central conversation on the election trail. The mainstream media offered little criticism of anything going on at the DNC. In fact, they were generous in complimenting the convention and their slate of speakers to help fill all of the hours of the coverage of that week-long political event. I mean, it's not like the media had been given much material involving policy points on crucial issues like record high inflation, an unsecured border, or foreign policy to use. But it was actually this headline, however, that caught my eye from the well-established media outlet, The Washington Post. Fashion is back in politics. Michelle Obama's appearance was just one piece of a DNC convention that so far has centered fashion to a surprising degree. But did it ever really leave, or is it like everything else in America today? Is it only recognized if you are on one side of the political aisle? Well, I want to bring this to our panel. Let's bring them in. Zhang Toy, who is fashion designer of the House of Toy. Cindy Gross, President, Cindy's Corner. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully we can. When I changed my bangs. I'll stand in. No, I can stand in. I have no problem. Please, while you guys do, I have no problem. I just want to make sure that. Do I just need to go to a different spot? Do we just need to go heads on, or it's been messed up? Okay. Violence is never the answer. Violence is never the answer. Oh no. Lexi's boyfriend gave her a Batman battle ram for their 1-year anniversary, and I was like, "Are you an idiot giving your girlfriend a weapon, especially her?" Well, I have a German Shepherd, but I also have a concealed carry permit too. So no, that's yeah. I'll just lock. They're just afraid kids will get it, but when you lock it into your center console or into your box, just to have it when you do. Yeah. Mhm. That's awesome. Right. Punch in all the codes. Whatever you wish. Your wish is. Yeah. Your wish is my command. Dun, 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 dun. There be light. Baby, come back. ADD kicks in. ADD, OCD, ABC, all of it, all the letters. Oh, 100%. Detail oriented. Perfection. I'm good, whatever you need. I'm fine. You guys are the ones I worry about. So there you go, see? I'm here. Of course, thank you. whether it be for the presidential nominee Kamala Harris, where the headlines from the Washingtonian was how Kamala Harris's Converse sneakers are changing fashion and politics. The vice president and other politicians are redefining the Washington dress code with sporty shoes. Or maybe it's her sporting the Chucks on the front cover of Vogue. Or even to the vice presidential nominee Tim Walz's camouflage hunting and farming gear. Can Tim Walz's wardrobe win the White House? The vice president's nominee's workwear is a central conversation on the election trail. The mainstream media offered little criticism of anything from the Democrat National Convention. They were generous in complimenting the convention and their slate of speakers to help fill their coverage of the week-long political event. It's not like the media had been given much material involving policy points on crucial issues like record high inflation, an unsecured border, or foreign policy to use. But it was actually this headline that changed, that was from the eye from the well-established media outlet, The Washington Post. Fashion is back in politics. Michelle Obama's appearance was just one piece of a DNC convention that so far has a centered fashion to a surprising degree. But did it ever really leave? Or is it like everything else in America today? Is it only recognized if you're on one side of the political aisle? Well, I want to bring in our panel to discuss. Zhang Toy, who's fashion designer from the House of Toy, and Cindy Gross, President, Cindy's Corner. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. I am so sorry. Great job, everybody. Different colors.
we stand for freedom, opportunity, compassion, dignity, fairness, and endless possibilities.
And turn the page on the last decade of what I believe has been contrary to where the spirit of our country really lies.
But the last decade, of course, the last 3.5 years has been part of your administration.
I'm talking about an era that started about a decade ago.
So today we've seized a Venezuelan-owned aircraft predominantly used by Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro in violation of U.S. sanctions and other matters that we're looking at into the aircraft.
What does that mean?
So today we seized the aircraft in violation of U.S. sanctions against Venezuela by the United States government.
Are you able to explain kind of what the sanctions were?
So it's the ongoing existing sanctions that OFAC has levied against Venezuela for years now.
Huh. I want to know, how are we doing on the white balance? Is the camera chipped? I do. Let me know when the cameras are. Chip these fuckers. Let's go. Thank you. I want to know, have you ever seen rain?
Yes, hello, how are you? Yeah, nice to meet you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, thanks.
We stand and endless possibilities. And endless possibilities.
Hey, Vic, can I check the Aussie Cossack in, Simeon? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sounds like we have Fiorella. Super.
Yes, I can hear you. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Oye,
9, 10.
Bobby, dame un pedacito of tape. Or maybe, do you have a little piece of tape, little gaff? Tiny little. Not a good answer. I can find some. The best answer is coming right up. Okay, well, let's wait 10 minutes. Maybe we can call a local hardware store. It's like, anybody got any gaffer's tape? Thank you. That's like the guy who you ask, hey, where are you? I thought you were coming over to my house. Yeah, I'm on the way. Okay. What does that mean? I'm only 5 minutes away. Oh, where are you? Kendall.